Hello, fellow teenagers. Welcome to another live stream with your pal Benjamin. Jump chains. You hate them. I'm falling in love with them. J. Scott Garaby's involved. We're going to have a heckin' hootin' lovin' time. Some of you who I presume build it, stream it, they won't come. The views tell me nothing. I started off with an agenda to bring people to this channel. Mark Tarana says good morning, and I'm noticing I got a very lovely garbage bag hanging over here. Let me just do the there you go. Now we're cooking. Mark Tarana, first in the live chat. Good morning to you. It's evening by us. It's morning by you. Tim Frey, second in the live chat. A silver pence to go with your brass buttons. Golden coin 100 coming in third. Game over. Now, don't be bitter, Golden Coin 100. You know there's still something you can do. And you done did it, kid. Gold medal onto you for live chat participation on Twitch. That's right, folks. If you thought my YouTube numbers sucked, wait till you see my numbers on Twitch. They're absolutely abysmal. Folks, welcome to Friday night, the most happening night on my live streams. I kid. They're abysmal. Folks, jump chains. We are off on an epic quest. I assure you, this time I'm going to stick with it. It's an epic journey that I've put on my plate. 30 jump chains, 300 years of virtual Michigas to build myself up in imaginary narrative power for a declared showdown with an opponent who shows no interest in engaging with any member of the outside world, who declares himself in any way, shape, or form oppositional to his worldview. At stake, if the jabroni don't show at the infinite staircase in 300 virtual years from now, I will close the infinite staircase behind him, symbolically representing his inability, manifesting his inability to enter the imaginary world of Dungeons and Dragons ever again. Symbolically. Should he recognize this, and should others recognize this as a power in my ability to do, and should he recognize whatever, and if anyone ever plays them at all, which is theoretical to begin with. Number two, at stake is my own reputation, I guess, for what it is. As a person with his own sanity, I don't know, whatever, dude. We're doing something with jump chains. You go to these mystical, magical lands. You imagine yourself being there for 10 years, or you don't. You could just build the imaginary characters there and then just be like, oh, what if I had this guy and he had these abilities from this land, and then he went to this other place. It was 10 years in that place. Why is it 10 years? I don't know. The first person, Quicksilver, mysterious person. I don't know if anyone knows anything about them. I don't know if anyone even cared to ask. I don't know if it's a mystery. Maybe everyone's like, oh, Quicksilver's this guy from, Southern California. Hell of a guy. Hell of a gal. Oh, man, you know what I mean? Or if anyone's like, well, we never thought to ask because why? You know what I mean? It's not really big, you know what I mean? Or he's a programmer. Duh. I don't know, whatever. Or if people are like, you're ruining your reputation in the Jumpchain community before you even start, man. Stop running your mouth. Or, that guy died of cancer. He died of cancer, dude. At the age of 13. Whatever. The point is this. There is no point. We are on planet Earth for not a long time, so we might as well be here for a good time. Charles Williamson joining us as well. The point is, we've known and established one thing about J. Scott Garrity. The dude runs his mouth. Contemporaneously, if you want an update on J. Scott Garrity, what he did today, guess what? According to J. Scott Garrity, he, as an evangelical Christian, doesn't add anything or take anything away from the Bible. Then, because he says this particular version of some sort of, prayer of renunciation, that he's going to go to heaven, but because Catholics don't say that prayer, they're all going to hell. Meanwhile, FY, in case you're curious, the Protestant prayer that he says of, if Jesus accept my sins, whatever, doesn't appear anywhere in the Bible. Of course not. Everyone who believes in this things, Jesus supposedly said on the cross, no one gets to the Father but through me. What does that mean? Did he ever say that? How could anyone hear him say anything from the cross? Because whatever. I'm not here to debate that. I've, my own version of a personal relationship with Jesus. And the queer, it doesn't matter what it means, what doesn't mean, but those words do not appear in the Bible. So J. Scott Garrity, again, what you say about not taking anything away or putting anything in the Bible doesn't equal that. Because guess what? What Martin Luther tacked on to the, outside of the door of the whatever chapel or whatever. Oh, these guys. Doesn't appear in the Bible either. Calls will not be answered. But judge not yet. You shall be judged and all the other jazz. Anyway, whatever with that dude, J. Scott Garrity. The other thing we know is this. We played a video by him yesterday, a non-contemporaneous video from a year ago, where he basically told this story about where he admitted, and I said, this. I remember him saying something else about the death of Fjorn the Phanpy, whatever, where he spilled this other stuff about what had happened with how Phanpy died. So blah, 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 genocide, second on Twitch. Before I go too far, which is already too late, we're going to play a little prelude by ostensibly playing the videos by J. Scott Garrity that laid down the groundwork for why I am justifiably so upset with J. Scott Garrity for causing the murder of a Pokemon, hence justifying why I will go on a 300-year journey through I'm interested in Jumpchains anyway. I would have gone on Jumpchains anyway. Why I will go specifically on a 30 Jumpchain journey to become the ultimate jumper, adorning myself with tools, talents, perks, and accoutrement from various jumps in order to armor myself with the whole armor of Schwan to prepare myself for the final showdown with J. Scott Garrity, should he choose to show up outside the Infinite Staircase to face me. And if he doesn't, we'll know it's because he's chicken, right? It's because he's scared of me, right? I'm the Bizarro Gooch. He is the anti Arnold Drummond. He caused the first death. He caused the Pokemon gym battle to turn bloody. Fjorn the Phanpy was disallowed from fainting and was caused to die. Bumming out the table, killing a pokerman. J. Scott Garraby basically committed a cosmic crime, which is why I'm going to bring him to justice virtually in imaginary land. And to the degree that I sound crazy, just remember it's all a bit. And J. Scott Garraby, if you're out there, remember, I know you're trying to encode your video. Well, I don't know you're trying to go, but you mentioned 10 years in your videos today, all the time, whatever. I'm not upset because whatever you're saying about Orion Akaba, whatever. And nothing changes the fact. Okay. Oh, here we go. This is true. Not for nothing, but Public Square is a website for self-declared nagging businesses is the ICE hotline. There you go. They also, just on another point, they arrested the mayor of Newark. ICE arrested the mayor of Newark for protesting. Okay, we're getting closer and closer to a civil war. I'm doing my part by where I could think we're honestly, folks, to be totally honest, they say stay in your lane. I'm doing my part. I'm playing the man for man. I'm taking out J. Scott Garraby in the virtual realm of I'll see you on the infinite staircase, J. Scott Garraby. If you don't show up, I'm closing the infinite staircase behind you. If you can't figure out why your D&D games are sucking and why you can't make it happen, why your player characters aren't visiting you as Force Ghosts, it's because the infinite staircase closed behind you. If you do not see me when I'm ready after 30 jumps, you'll know when I get there. The first jump has to be the Pokemon Choose Your Own Adventure jump, Pokemon Trainer jump, which we will get to. I think we'll show you. I don't know much about Pokemon, but I'm doing research. We're going to discover some interesting things about Pokemon, the nostalgia loop. It will Pokemon will turn 30 years old next year. So we're basically on the 30-year nostalgia loop for Pokemon. Everything happens for a reason. Chrono Magic is real, Joneside. I hope today is better than yesterday. Jonaside, hashtag Chrono Magic is real. Losing a friend is hard. Well, hang tough, Jonaside. We'll be streaming, so know that we're here for you. Chrono Magic is most definitely real. Do not be everything happened. Jonaside. Chrono Magic is real. I know a couple of streams ago I was like, I'm not messing around anymore, blah, 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 blah. Chrono Magic is real. We're going to see some shit. The 30-year anniversary of Pokemon is right around the corner. Things don't always move exactly on the exact demarcation mark. I think everything happens for a reason, dude. Okay? We're going to see some dates. We're going to see some things. For people that are joining us from other communities, if everything sounds totally crazy and insane, understand. We are not ashamed. Weird Al Yankovic said something. Weird Al Yankovic said something in a song. You might remember it from the Transformers movie. Or you might remember from it, I think it was on Weird Al Yankovic in 3D. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I quote this song lyric, and I remember this song, and I often play this song for myself and for friends as a religious mantra. I shit you not. The final internet boss of shitlords can think whatever he wants to about chaos magicians and how foolish chaos magicians are. You know what I think is foolish? People thinking that they are like valiant knights against white replacement when they have no kids and they are basically crazy cat ladies with penis. You know what I'm saying? Dare to be stupid. Everybody cut footloose. Here we go. So we played a video yesterday where J. Scott Garrity admitted that what happened was he did not think that that his player character was going to die because of the 5e lenient death save rolls. But we're going to see a video today where this is the video that I remember where he's going to basically give this whole big huge speech. And this is videos I remember. We're going to deconstruct some lies. Okay? That's what we're going to do. And then we're going to get onto the jump chains. The jump chains are going to happen, folks. If there are people that are joining us for jump chains, be like, yo, he's been said jump chains to the hashtags, and then he plays these videos by some other bearded schmendrick D&D player. What's the deal? Flagrant false advertising. I just want to let those people know. The videos can go long. Do not jump out. No pun intended. Stay with us. Okay? I promise. It's worth your while. Would I lie to you? How can I assure that it's worth your while? Because I know. This entire pragmatic choice. This entire time I thought this was about the French-Canadian debate bro who killed his special needs wife. Oh, no. You're thinking about JF Grippy, right? That guy. But what's funny is that in jump chains, you're supposed to pick a benefactor, and I was going to make my guy my benefactor. No, Mark Turan, I've gotten better. I've got my I got my introductions down to a trim 17 minutes. See, that's what happens. I'm getting practice makes perfect. I'm down from 40 minutes to a trim 17. It's the prostate medication. The doctors have only given me another 45 years to live. It changes a man. It puts things in perspective. My wife, she simply chose to go away. So I drove her to far off destination and I left her there. I don't know why everyone asks so many questions. She basically, what I realized, people saying I'm cold. I have no emotions anymore because women, I realize, they are crazy and they are terrible. And I make statements like this. I have no problem that people think that I kill her. That's do you like my the JF Garippi? I forget. I think that's his name. There you go. Anyway, on to a more serious. Folks, listen. I'm going to warm up with J. Scott Garrity. I'm going to warm up with J. Scott Garrity. I'll do a 30 jump chain to work up to fight J. Scott Garrity. And then once I do that, I'll do another maybe like tight 100 jump chain just with like, Monk, House, Special Victims Unit. Honestly, like there's like over thousands and thousands of jump docs that have been prepared that you can do all these different jump chains, okay? And I'll pick up all those abilities and then I'll find Alora or whatever her name is. If you want to find her, if she wants to be found. But I forget what her name was. Mama something. Forget what they were calling her. His name was his show was something, and then they called her something Mama. Anyway, I don't know. I am with a woman now. She's a supermodel, so I don't know why people would be interested in. I would be interested in finding her, but I don't know why people would think that I would kill her. Um, anyway, now the meta RPG is going to dig that whole thing up again. So watch the algorithm. There you go. Watch the algorithm take me. Womp 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 womp. There you go. There you go. Next time you see me, I'll be in El Salvador. I'll be in El Salvador next to JF Garippy. Oh man, I can't believe I ended up with this dude. I can't believe I ended up with you. Oh man, jeez. Oh my, Coach Red Pill. I thought you were dead. If you guys want to know how to get dates in here, I can tell you. Shut up, yous. Coach Red Pill jokes, folks. Coach Red Pill. Come on. Sanctity of the Dead. ASMR, is this thing on? Doop, 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 doop. Okay. Did somebody say J. Scott Garrity? No one said J. Scott Garrity. Okay. Oh, Alcatraz, not the 80s band, The Prison? Oh, I got me excited. I thought you were talking about the 80s band. Oh, my God. Oh, shit. Let's just go ahead and share a screen. Do. Oh, why? So the playlist, folks, I happen to notice no views on the playlist, huh? I made a big deal about making a playlist and telling you guys the playlist is in the description box below. You know what else is in the description box below? All the links to all the ways that you can start giving me no money, as you guys have been giving me no money. I still have a Patreon. I haven't checked it in a million years because, you know, all the people that watch my Patreon videos, I think you support me anyway, and you watch all my videos anywhere else, and no one else joins my Patreon. So I said, I'll start making more videos on Patreon when people tell me, hey, man, I joined your Patreon. And then I'll make, every time someone tells me affirmatively that they've joined my Patreon, I will make another Patreon video. That'll be the deal. Okay. So there's links to my Patreon in the description box below. You could join for, there's no tiers. So you can join for like the de minimis, you know, dollar and change or whatever that they charge you. You join there and it'll send me a thing that says somebody joined Patreon, and then I'll make a Patreon video. Okay. I'll do a Patreon live stream. Okay. That'll be the deal. And then and then, you know, people continue their support on Patreon. People support me on Patreon. You know that I love you. You know that I love you. And I love your support. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There's also that whole buy me a cup of coffee. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee, you don't actually buy me a cup of coffee. You know how that deal is. And you can also just send me, you know, money on PayPal if you like what I'm doing here. Or you could just, you know, or like, comment, and subscribe, all that stuff. It really helps me in the algorithm because, you know, all that. I'm not a, you know, a YouTube hustler. You know, I know, and I shoot myself in my own foot all the time by reminding you that, you know, hey, I'm a guy, you know, and I know that, you know, you give $1 to me or give $1 to the guy on the street corner who's like, you know, won't eat without $1, or you could, you know, give $1 to me or give $1 to a person, you know, fighting cancer or whatever. But if you got, you know, if you got money and you feel like giving me money, you can always give me money. You know what I mean? I like money too. And I could use it. You know what I mean? You know, don't think that I have it so good that I couldn't use more money. You know what I mean? I could use more money. You know what I mean? I could use more money. Anyway, so we're going to watch two videos. So the video that we watched yesterday was this one, the Dungeons and Dragons Death of a Beloved Phanpy, Forn, and the Shape of Loss. Okay. There's one above it, the Dungeons and Dragons Death of a Beloved Phanpy, and there's one below it, the Dungeons and Dragons Death of a Beloved Phanpy, Fjorn, sitting Shiva for a player character. So those are the two videos that could be the one that I'm looking for. That's got this speech that he gave. So we're gonna end up watching both those. I don't know if we'll watch them tonight. And then we'll be able to add to the playlist as we do the jumps, which we'll move through and we'll see how that plays out. We'll see what the actual experience of moving through those jumps are. We'll see what we get through tonight. We'll see what happens. Anyway, here we go.
Hi.
Then we do this whole thing. Let me make sure you can see me. And then we'll also get to you didn't get the check that I sent in the mail. It's endorsed to Jack Burton. That one. Chegs Chambers. Greetings from Wales. Did I miss much? You actually did. You actually did. There was a stream before this one. I had to delete it. Zeppelin played. I'm kidding you, Chegs. Listen, here we go. Getting the parts there, but welcome to the live chat. I remember this one. I remember it being a night video. So let's see. Now remember, this is the video that he shot before the X one. So this one, if he does this, if this information contradicts the information from the last one, last one that we saw yesterday, remember, he made the last one will be an admission.
Hey, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to talk about character death. So this is a field report from the Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition Pokemon World conversion campaign that I am.
Fair use, fair use, fair use. Also, I have a short that I cut from the last video. It's pretty good, where I basically just have him admitting to murdering a Pokemon.
That I am. I don't know what tense to use. Was in, am in. We'll see. We'll see. Because my player character died. All right. So first of all, let me explain who my player character was. So it's a Pokemon game. So each person plays a Pokemon. So I came in at level 4, and I was a level 4 Phanpy. Now Phanpy is.
I just want to point out that in the Pokemon Trainer Jumpchain, Choose Your Own Adventure Jumpchain, I believe you start off as a level 4 too. I mean, you're the trainer. When you drop in, you get a Pokemon for free, but I believe your free Pokemon starts at level 4 too. I don't know if that's like a standard Pokemon convention or something.
The elephant Pokemon who evolves into Donphan. And so I was invited into this game and really felt incredibly fortunate to be invited into this game because this is a podium level Dungeons and Dragons campaign. So what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, they have an absolutely amazing game space. It's held in someone's home. So this is, and that's not a small thing. Like my game right now happens in FLGS, right? And really, when you have a home that is dedicated to, like you can go in, no one from the public is there. You can make the jokes you want to make. You can say the things you want to say. You can be yourself. It's really incredibly nice, right? It has an incredibly dedicated dungeon master.
Meanwhile, J. Scott Garibay is a homeowner. That's my understanding. I don't know why he doesn't host the games at his house. Whatever, dude.
Super smart. It has a mixed gender. It's a mixed gender table. It has men and women. It's a mix.
Really? Mixed gender means men and women? Thank you for defining that for us, buddy.
Mixed gender table. That is not common. Like, it's interesting because I know, like, streamers and people who play, podium. A lot of people who do play podium level Dungeons and Dragons. Your Dungeons and Dragons, if everything's in a race, if all Dungeons and Dragons are in a race, is yours winning a copper, a silver, or a gold?
I didn't realize that Dungeons and Dragons tables were in competition with each other. I thought Dungeons and Dragons were just like, games.
This is a podium level, Dungeons and Dragons campaign. It's really dedicated people. So,
and they got chicks, man. If I could get to this game, I would, I
was playing a level 4 Phanpy Pokemon, and we were going for a gym badge, and it was going to be a bug type gym, right? And it was a bug type gym. So the gym leader was a very powerful Flygon. And so here's what happened. My Phanpy said to Phanpy's name was Fjorn, Fjorn. And
Like, should we deconstruct this? Like, I mean, I'm not really that aware of like things. Like, should I be educating myself as we move through? Like, should I be looking up like bug type? Because I will be going to the Perkman trainer choose your own adventure jump chain. Should I be like, because I've looked up Phanpy, I've looked up the different, because like I told you, like my experience with Pokemon, I played this puzzle game because it was based on an earlier puzzle game from Japan that I liked on the uh that was available on the Switch virtual arcade thing. And then I played Let's Go Eevee with my kids when we first got the Switch, but that was a million years ago. Like I know, like I'm familiar with, you throw the ball at the Pokemon, and then you catch the Pokemon, and then you fight the Pokemon together. And I know there's the different types, like there's a water type, but I'm not like I know of those sort of things, but I don't know like the mechanics. Like I don't know the details. Like I don't know like what a Flygon is.
and so my Phanpy, who was named Fjorn, my Phanpy said to the gym leader, "Hey, and the dungeon master had said,
Now this is the speech. This is it. This is the fucking speech. This is the fucking speech. I remember this. I remember watching this a year ago. Are there comments on this video? I gotta say, 3 comments. And this guy, Bear Kid, this is the DM. This is the DM for the thing. So we're gonna dive into this guy. This is the greatest. We're gonna dive into this because he puts comments on these videos. So he's got to be one of these 2 likes. This is the speech. I remember this speech watching J. Scott Garrity give this speech a year ago. This is crazy.
all gym battles are subdual damage." Right? He said this in my first. So by the way, my fourth level, I was invited into this game. I played.
Meanwhile, all gym battles in Pokemon are subdual battles because Pokemon since 1996, when it was first Pokemon first came out in 1996 for the Game Boy, right? And because it's for kids, the Pokemon don't die. They faint, right? They don't die. When your Pokemon goes all the way down, it doesn't die. There's no blood and gore in Pokemon. They faint. He J. Scott Garrity did something that basically he anti-nerfed the game, causing it to be something that I don't think ever occurred, you know what I mean, in Pokemon history. He caused a death of a Pokemon.
Played one session, had a blast, really liked it, and seemed to gain ground in earning my seat, right, and proving to everybody there that I was worth having at the table.
Now, bear in mind, look at his shirt. His shirt has a year on it. So the year is 2006. And I told you that next year in 2026, Pokemon is going to have its 30th anniversary, right? So he's wearing a shirt that is from the 10-year anniversary of Pokemon. Do. Just pointing that out, folks. Everything happens for a reason.
I made the dungeon master think about a few things. I kind of shared the spotlight, but I also spoke up and said some good stuff, and I feel like I had a good night, right? Then the next week that they meet weekly, right?
And it says never forget. It says never forget 2006.
Right. The next week, I was traveling, so I couldn't make it, right? But I was also added onto the Facebook thread, right? And that was really nice. And I was, and I was getting to know people. I was talking to people. Some of the other players reached out to me and gave me suggestions for my character. I was really starting to get to know the players and really enjoy the game, right? So now session 2 comes, and I had been thinking about this, and I'm like, what's the point of subdual damage for gym battles? What, somebody's going to
So he thought to himself, what's the point of subdual damage for gym battles? This is the fucker who cares so much about player characters. Remember, he's the guy who cares so much about player characters. And he's the guy, but this is the guy that can't be a player, always has to be the dungeon master. This is his fucking mentality. There were rules to this game. The rules of the game were basically in line with the narrative structure and the whole essence of Pokemon. They were playing Pokemon World, where the Pokemon don't die. Subdual damage, because they don't die, they faint. So he's going to come up with a brainstorm to get past the non-lethality of the game system, of the world. He's going to invent in his brain a way to make sure that his character dies, because he cares so much about character dying. He's a psychopath. He's the psychopath. He accuses everyone else, and if anyone's going to have beef with me for saying that, in one of his videos, he accuses all Dungeons and Dragons players and all TTRPG players who don't think what he thinks about player characters being so sanctimonious of being psychopaths. He's actually the psychopath, because he puts all this energy and investment into player characters and then intentionally killed one. Intentionally put a little Phanpy in harm's way. He's the person, potentially, and I'm using that word pejoratively. I'm not a mental health professional, so I don't know what these terms actually mean, and I don't know how they would actually apply to a person, but he's the one who did what he could to make sure that an imaginary Phanpy would be potentially killed in front of all these people who were just trying to play Pokemon. They weren't trying to play Conan and Hyperborea or whatever. They weren't trying to play, Dark Sun. They were trying to play Pokemon. Listen to the guy.
Fall unconscious. What's the point of this, right? Like, and the reason
fall unconscious. What's the point of that? What's the point of them falling unconscious? That's Pokemon. You wanted Phanpy to die. You wanted Fjorn to die. You wanted to see a Pokemon die.
Why is, I guess I really realize now, like, I really like the death part of Dungeons and Dragons in that
you like the death part of Dungeons and Dragons. You've been bullshitting everyone that you can't stand death. You've been bullshitting people that you think that it's so crazy and so scary and you can't take it. You love it when things die.
I feel it puts stakes on the game, right? And so we are Pokemon, and we are engaging in gym battles, and the Pokemon that we are humans that were turned into Pokemon from because there was this one specific event that turned everybody in the world into Pokemon, right? So we're not traditional trainers from that perspective. We just play one Pokemon, right? So we're not like Ash Ketchum, right? So the structure of the game is different. It's really fascinating, right? So you got this situation, and all of this is coming together. So I said in character, right, and I did not warn the dungeon master. I was like, this I like to surprise the dungeon master. I like to surprise the other players. I highly encourage you. Like, one of the best things in life is to be unpredictable, right? Don't be the kind of person where everybody knows what you're going to say next. And
that's why you have so many friends, and that's why people love to kick you out of games. You are somewhere on the human behavior spectrum.
I've strived, right? I've strived to be the kind of person where not everybody knows what I'm going to say next, right? So and so I was like, hey, we're Pokemon. We used to be human, now we're Pokemon. We're doing this gym badge battle because this is a ritual that used to exist for trainers that had Pokemon, but we are the Pokemon. So when we say Pokemon Master, we are mastering ourselves. So I'm saying all this in player character, and I said, Professor Atlantis and gym leader Daniel, who was the Flygon, I was like, I want this to be lethal damage. I want no, and we were using subdual and lethal in the game, right? Just talking about it openly as characters.
You were talking about it. You weren't using it. Stop lying.
We could have used some, terms of art or whatever, but I thought it was fine.
You didn't think it was fun. You're saying that now because you know that people would like me would pick up on the fact that you fucked everyone's game up, and so now you're trying to cover your ass. Don't lie. Lying is a sin.
I was like, I want there to be stakes, right? Like this needs to be an arena battle. This isn't a gym battle. We're not training anymore.
Even if it was an arena battle, it would still be the Pokemon would faint.
Or we're trying to master ourselves, right? We're not training. We're not taking in a collection of Pokemon and throwing out the one we like, and we're not part of it. We are battling ourselves, right? And so let's do it for real. Let's put stakes on the game, right? And so immediately Dungeon Master said, "This is a very bad idea." Every single person at the table said, "This is a very bad idea," right?
And so everyone at the table said it's a very bad idea. The Dungeon Master said it was a very bad idea. And everyone at the table said this is a very bad idea. So what did J. Scott Garrity do? J. Scott Garrity said, the Dungeon Master doesn't like it, but more importantly, all my co-players don't like it. So maybe I shouldn't do it. Or did J. Scott Garrity say, everyone doesn't like this, including the Dungeon Master and all the players, so I better go ahead and do it.
And then, so I was warned out of character and I was warned in character. This is a bad idea, right? And I told them, I said, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Here's the thing. This is Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I know Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And the death save is very safe. Lean on it, right? You get 3 chances to save, right? And if any one of you gets over and just pops an orange berry into my mouth, I'm up, right? You don't worry about it. We got this, right? So we go into the battle, right? I have 34 hit points. This Flagon hits me for 68 hit points with 1 hit, right? And I was like, oh man. And then I said, oh, I'm fine, because it's if you take over 50 damage, right? If you take over 50 damage over your in one and you die by an amount over 50, you are dead permanently. So 68, I'm currently at 25. I'm fine. It's not a 50 point overflow. And he goes, no. If you get hit for your max damage, 2 times your max damage, you're dead. So you are dead with no death save. And I was like, oh my gosh, that math is right. You're right. I'm dead with no death save, right? And I was like shocked. It really shocked me. And here's the thing. I had no intention of dying in this game. And this is pretty wild.
Yep. You had no intention. But everyone had warned you. Everyone had told you. And you were like, yeah, I got this. Death save. Blah, blah, blah. And you know that they told you that the other dude could fucking hit you for this match. You know that they told him about how much damage the other guy could do.
2. This Dungeon Master had no intention of killing you, even after he allowed the lethal damage battle. And I had to fight in character to get that lethal damage battle. I had to insult the gym leader, Daniel, this Flygon. And so this was 100% on me. But I legit thought I'd be safe.
You legit thought you'd be safe, so you pushed it. Everyone said, don't do this, and you said, fuck you. I'm going to do it.
Right? But the Dungeon Master warned me. Every player at the table warned me. What was astounding?
They didn't just warn you. You know that if he's telling the story this way, he's already said that he had to insult the other gym leader. You know he was fighting with the other people at the table. You know they didn't just warn him. You know that there was a freaking argument.
Was not only did my Phanpy get the gym leader to allow this lethal combat, but then I literally convinced every other player character to join me in the first lethal gym badge battle, right? And I couldn't believe it. Around the table, every other player character joined me, and I was like, this is going to work out great. I'm going to be a hero for this. Everybody's going to realize I was right.
Yep.
And it swung around and just hit me hard, right? Like I took the fail, right? Now here's where this lands. I have a problem. My name is Scott Garibai. Hi, I play a lot of Dungeons & Dragons, and
Hi, Scott.
I have a problem. I am
welcome, Scott. Keep coming.
Very attached to player characters, and I already know. I'm 53 years old, right? And I think when you hear people talking about player character death, a lot of times they're 20, 30, 40 years old, right? Death is not a part of their, it's not a part of their daily thoughts, right? Death is a part of my daily thoughts. I have more years behind me than I have in front of me, right? Death is a boon companion that comes to say hi every now and then, right? Like,
If you want some, look, first of all, I just want to say something. If you're curious, FY, in the case you're curious, TTRPG players have this kind of nasty reputation. If you look at heroes in this community, people like Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson, even um, and others. Uh, these are white dudes that die like poor black guys. No offense. I'm not saying that to be racist. I'm saying that to point out a statistical observational fact and to point out death and health inequality in the United States of America. Dave Arneson died at 61. 61. Gary Gygax died at 69. Okay. Um, the was it Janelle Jacquet? She didn't die too old either. She died at like I think at her early 70s, if not late 60s too. Goes to show you, you mean you can become your own natural self. You still ain't beating the statistics for game players, right? And these are, I mean, it's like, remember, it's like there are guys, and for whatever reason, like the rock and roll guys from the 60s and 70s are still rock and rolling, but the guys, like almost all the guys from the 1990s grunge scene are gone, right? Either through suicide or misadventure, like almost all of like the 90s grunge scene are gone. There's just like some scenes that people just do not hang on in. So like based on his raw physique, J. Scott Garrett's like not off of the mark. Like going by Dave Arneson and Gary Gygax, you know what I mean, as benchmarks. When J. Scott Garrett points out the fact that he's 55, 53 of this video, 55 today, it is. It's like, you know what I mean? And FY, in case you're curious, gentlemen out there who listening to me, your game collections, your book collections, nobody fucking wants them. Nobody wants them. There's only one product, and that is like the original white box D&D set that is like almost any collector's value whatsoever. Everything else is fucking worthless. Fucking worthless. It is not comic books. It's not Magic the Gathering boxes. Oh, those Magic the Gathering cards are basically almost are worthless. Like this stuff has no fucking resale value. It's, you know what I mean? The things that have resale value are original Star Wars toys, nothing else, and the original box sets of D&D. That's it. Everything else, fucking worthless. You know what I mean? Bury yourself with them. Like get a container unit and like buy. You know what I mean? Everything else is worthless. Know what you're. Unscripted and Unchained Reviews has talked about it too. He's told his daughters, these books don't just throw them away. His daughters have looked him right in the eye and been like, "Fuck you, they're going away. Going to Goodwill. No one wants this shit."
like now he don't come and take me, but like I'm 53, right? And death is something I'm beginning to very carefully think about. And one of the things is my greatest human hero, right? My greatest, hero overall is Jesus Christ. But the person
Lord of mercy.
who lived on this planet, right, and is now no longer here that I respect the most is Gary Gygax. I think he speaks from the grave every day, and it's
Let me out! Let me out! I wasn't dead yet.
really put a lot of thought.
What you say that about Gary Gygax, man? He cured cancer, man. You know what I mean? He created a hell of a game, man. You know what I mean? Like, fuck him. You know what I mean? Like, no offense, I love you guys, but you know what I mean? You gotta put shit in perspective. Even if the guy cured cancer, you know what I mean? Like I'll talk shit about, Watson and Crick all day too. Guess what? Hey, you know what? Check this out. Fuck Einstein. Fuck Einstein.
Into me about legacy. What is
E equals MC squared? Okay, whatever the fuck that means, you know what I mean? Okay, sure. That's the general theory of relativity. Uh-huh. And that's because we know that, so then we do all this other stuff. Okay, sure. Whatever you say, Einstein.
my legacy going to be? Who's going to come to my funeral?
No one.
Who's going to think?
Well, your kids and your wife, you know what I mean? Some members of your church who are like, yeah, we're being supportive, the old lady and the kids. They'll say, thank God that guy's fucking dead, man. That guy was a son of a bitch.
Right? And so, when did I start thinking about Phanpy? This.
His name was Fjorn, dude. He was a Phanpy. That's like, you keep on saying Phanpy, like that's like saying like, when did I start thinking about dog
character? Right? It wasn't in session 1. It was a week before that. Right? So Phanpy has been in my head and my heart for 3 weeks. And I know a ton of people will be like, it's just a character sheet. It's just a piece of paper. And I can assure you, it is not, right? When I got invited to this game, I pulled out, I'm not kidding, I pulled out 1,000, 2,000, a box filled with about 2,000 Pokemon cards that were from when I played in a Pokemon League that go all the way back when I played in a Pokemon League when my son, who's now, I think we were playing in, oh man, wow. I think we were playing in the early 2000s, right? So like there were cards in here that were 20, 25 years old, right? And I remember pinning a gym badge onto my son in a Toys R Us that doesn't exist anymore. It's an Ozzy's outlet center now, But like, I started thinking about this character 3 weeks ago, and there's been this growing love for this character, and I realize I do have a problem, right?
So I told you his kids are growing up. The kid is like 2000. The kid was like a kid, like probably like, 8, 9 years old now. Then, so the kid's probably like, what, like 30, almost 30. He's out of the house. He lives in another, he lives out. That kid moved away.
I don't take player characters lightly. The moment I start thinking about them, they are a part of me. They are a part of my identity. They are an identity I have lived in for a short period of time, and I take their deaths very, very seriously.
You take their death so seriously. If you don't take their death so seriously, why the heck would you put this Fjorn's life on the line and vote for this lethal battle? It's kind of foolish, man. Take it seriously, bro. If you're gonna act as though you care so much about player character death, man, why don't you invest some time, energy, and effort in trying to keep those people safe? I mean, I'm not trying to be like Mr. like douchebag here, like being like all super serial about it, but at the same time, what pisses me off is when people like make me feel emotionally invested in their pain and suffering. Like when J. Scott Garrity has like built up this like aura of, I care so much about player character death and it affects me so much, and these people haunt me like Force Ghosts, and then it turns out that like he put someone at risk so capriciously. It's like, fuck you. You know what I mean?
So there are two truths here. The death of this character was no one's responsibility but mine. Whether I should or not is not part of the discussion.
No, it is part of the discussion. You shouldn't have. You're a douchebag. I hold you personally responsible, and that's why I'm going on this 300-year journey. I'm going to all the I can go on, whether I go on the hardest jumps, there's 2 ways that I can go on this jump chain journey, dude. Check this out. Okay. Hold on, but stop sharing for a minute and return to the live chat world. Here, check this out. Going on these jump chains, okay, you can go about it in 2 different. I can go about it in 2 different ways. when you go on these jumps, you go to these various different IPs, right? All the different jump documents basically contain um, a set of different like not like character classes, but like if you go to the friends jump chain, you could be like, I guess you could be like the Phoebe, the Monica, the the this, the that, the different guys, you know what I mean? And for each one, there'd be like a set of like different perks that you could get. And if you chose like perks that were related to the particular specific origins, like germane to those particular origins, you get them for like either free or for a particular discounted price. And if you chose outside of your, tree, you would pay more for them, and you get like a thousand points to build your character build, right? And with those 1,000 points, you get perks that would make your life easier, like different powers and abilities. And then you could buy like items, and then you could pick up like companions for a certain price, or you could import companions from a previous jump for a certain amount of points, and you can get drawbacks, you know what I mean, like different, make things like difficult for yourself and get extra points for the different drawbacks. You can build like a home base for different amount of points and stuff and whatever. And at the conclusion of the jump, you get all the drawbacks go away from you, but all the things like the powers and the perks and the items you get to keep. And you move on to the other jump. And depending on the rules of the next jump, you keep your abilities and items, or you have to sacrifice them and put them into a warehouse or whatever. So the whole point of this jump experiences would be to build myself up in superpowers. So when I face J. Scott Garrity in the virtual world outside of the final jump, which would be the D&D jump outside the Infinite Staircase, I'd be powerful enough to beat him and his manifold sentience with all of his gained experiences from all his different D&D powers or whatever. I don't know. It's whatever. It's all bullshit, right? So anyway, and my premise is this, is that whether or not I go on specific jumps to be the most powerful dude ever, like I'm going to go here and here and here and build myself up strategically so that I don't die along the way and so that I end up being the most powerful dude at the end. Or if I go to the meekest, weakest, lamest jumps possible, where the perks and the powers and the items are like, Fismo, I'll still be, no matter what, I'll still be the most ultimate dude capable of taking down J. Scott Garrity and turning him into cinder, because I am the Ayatollah Rockarola. I am all that he wishes and aspires to be, right? I will shame him in front of his wife and his children merely by looking at him, because I am Asmodeus the Mighty just by being me. I could show up and take a nap in front of him and he still wouldn't be able to defeat me, because I'm Benjamin Me. I'm Benjamin C. I'm CW fucking Chanter. Deal with it, okay? Look at me. With headphones, I rule. Do you know what I mean? Under an unlit fluorescent light, I rock. Do you know what I mean? J. Scott Garrity, you've got 3,000 subscribers. I got nothing. And I'm like Clubber Lang, looking at you with your 3,000 subscribers, like Clubber Lang talking to Rocky next to his statue, being like, you up there with a statue? I'm down here. Give me a title fight. I'm going to kill you. Because Rocky was a movie where it said in the script, Sylvester Stallone beats Mr. T. Okay? In the reality of the real world, unless the script says J. Scott Garrity defeats Benjamin outside of the Infinite Staircase, guess what? You don't defeat me. I defeat you. Do you know why? Because I'm me and you're you. Deal with it. Once you're over 50, it's like living in Sniper's Alley. Absolutely. Make a game of it. Every day you're alive this side of the dirt, it's like another point. Add up those points. Consider yourself a winner. Talk to your friends. Be like, how old are you? And if you've got friends that are younger than you, just remember that no matter when you die, you still beat them. As far as you're concerned. I mean, if they live longer than you at the end of things, and it's like they cheated because technically they lived longer than you, technically in a world with better medical science, unless something else happens that weakens the situation for them. But you'll not know because you'll be dead. Huh? Everybody's a winner. Well, except you. You'll be dead. But you know what I mean? Don't forget to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior right at the last minute. It really cheeses out the people that live the life of celibacy and goodness and wonderfulness all the way up until the end. You know what I mean? And then the people that are like, and it really pisses off the people who are like, what if you don't do it until, what if you miss your opportunity? Because, you know what I'm saying. You'll be fine. Share screen. We'll just close them out because we see this is the video that I was talking about. Boom.
I feel deeply sad about this. And this is
I feel deeply sad about you, dude.
Is something I need.
Just kidding. Listen, fair use, fair use, fair use. The purpose of this video is to not mock, demean, destroy, or make J. Scott Garrity feel bad. It's transformative work. I need to point out again that he holds himself out as a public figure. Therefore, rules of the public figure are the rules of the public figure. You know what I mean? And he says bad things about Catholics and minorities and all this other thing. He's just who he is. And we're all just having fun here. You know what I mean? It's transformative work. And it's just a marketplace of ideas. We're just discussing character death. Okay? And, can I just be totally honest, YouTube algorithm? I really think what's going on here, can I tell you honestly, YouTube algorithm? I really feel like me and J. Scott Garrity are a lot alike. Like we're misunderstood. And maybe I just want to be J. Scott Garrity's friend. I just don't know how to express that the right way. So I know I can be a little bit proactive. And I can lash out and I can say mean things that can be misinterpreted. I don't mean that to be the case, even though I know it can seem like that's the case. If I said anything that could seem like, I don't know, violation of terms of service or like I was being mean or trying to be rude, I apologize. And I didn't mean that. It wasn't my intention. And I'm sorry. I love J. Scott Garrity. I want to be friends. Maybe we could meet somewhere. Maybe outside the infinite staircase.
Need to unpack for a little while, right? And
fair use.
I'm
transformative work.
I know this is strange, right? And I know in the 70s,
he looks exactly like Birdie. Remember the movie Birdie?
70s and 80s, we warned people deeply about this. They're like, hey, you cannot mix reality and fantasy, right? And
then we stopped warning people. What?
Reality is, I've been blessed with so many things, and Dungeons and Dragons has been such an incredible part of my life. It's not
so just that's how I feel about sex with real life human beings.
That I'm confusing fantasy for reality.
Oh shit. He said the loud part. He said the quiet part out loud, didn't he? He just said the quiet part out loud, didn't he?
But that I have chosen to make fantasy my reality.
Oh, Jesus.
And I can tell you right now, there are human beings I deal with that mean less to me than this character does. That's just
holy shit.
That's just a fact, right? They're not my friends, right? But there's that, and they're not even my associates. But there are people I need to deal with at some frequency who mean less than this Phanpy vid did to me.
Man, even if you're like that, even if you're like, you know what I mean, like his coworker that he's talking about, if you heard that, I'd be like, damn, you know what I mean?
right? And it's not a character. It's notes in a commonplace.
And meanwhile, you're an evangelical Christian. So I just want to let you know that if you think that, I don't know what happens when we die exactly, but if you think that you're going to go up in front of the pearly gates and you're just going to go to JC and he's whatever you think, however you think it works, there's no conception that I have that if you think that you're just going to go up there and you're going to be as the dude who cared more about an imaginary character than you did about another human being who you had to associate with on a frequent basis, and it's just going to be awesome. I don't know, dude.
Book. It's a Lego board I built to capture the attribute scores and the hit points and every single skill that Phanpy had.
His name was Fjorn, dude. He was a Phanpy. Stop. You know what I mean? It's like weird.
And it's
why am I talking about it like this?
The Pokemon cards that I pulled out to represent all the other player characters and wrote, a sticky note on the back. And these are a collection of objects physically in the world. And there's a set of sensations, emotions, memories that only existed in that Phanpy that now exists in me, right? And so I do need to process this, and it is quite sad making. Am I the only one here? Am I the only, because I hear all the time, especially from OSR allies, that there should be no, OSR runs funnels. They grind player characters for fun. There are people who run West March games. They're like, death means nothing. I'm just not that kind of player.
It's not that death means nothing. It's the fact that these aren't real people. These are imaginary characters. When your fellow player dies, that means something. I remember Shoner, even though Shoner pissed me off, and he insulted and degraded fellow members of the progressive side of the gaming community that I feel closer to than anybody on any other aspect of the gaming community. But I still noted that a human being named Shoner who existed on the planet Earth passed. But I would never feel that way about Shoner's player characters, because Shoner players' characters are just they're avatars. They're not real things. And if one can't make that separation, one has to go to a qualified mental health professional and talk about that, because that is a dysfunction of mind.
I just can't let this stuff go easily.
That's why you need to talk to a qualified mental health professional.
If I'm the only person here, have you? The other thing that I'm really interested in, kind of exploring, is, am I seeking death at the table to prepare myself for my imminent death? Right?
Entirely possible. That might be healthy, but it'd be a great thing to do would be to talk to a qualified mental health professional about that.
For the death I'm hurtling toward. I'm 53. I think I'll die between 73 and 83.
I think you'll die. That makes, yeah, maybe.
But that's not far away from me.
It's not far from you at all.
More years on this earth than I will have. I'm very confident of that. And am I using the Dungeons and Dragons table to explore death? I think I might be, right? And I don't. There's a lot of questions around that. Really, every single word of that is my humble opinion.
It's not an opinion. It's thoughts and emotions, and I don't think you know what even the word opinion means. You need to get stronger with your use of language. You need a thesaurus and a dictionary.
What's important is when I get to your actually every single word of that is my heartfelt.
There you go.
Confession.
Right? I like that.
I really Dungeons and Dragons. It's not fantasy to me. It is.
Wow, that's crazy, bro. That's beautiful that you're coming. It's good that you're saying it out loud, but you need to hear yourself say it out loud and then realize what the implications of that are, and then go to a qualified mental health professional and be like, last night I was in my car and I was making a YouTube video and I said the words out loud, Dungeons and Dragons is not just a fantasy to me. And I then realized that that's a problem. And I went to my wife and said, I need help. And she said, I'm going to help you get the help that you need. And that's why I'm here. Doc, what do I do? And then you're going to start talking to a couch scribbler. It's probably something as simple as getting you like a drug. And then you'll start stabilizing.
Very much a part of my reality. And it is very much a tool I'm using to explore where I'm going next. Right. And I know where I'm going next.
You don't know where you're going next. I think you know where you're going next, but I think the fact that you can't separate reality from fantasy, it's problematic because you might be using religion the exact same way that you're using Dungeons and Dragons.
I think the moment of death is something that I might be exploring because I can't help but think like, I configured this situation, right?
You did.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Please consider like and subscribing.
Here we go. Now I just want to look at the comments real quick, and then we'll move on with our lives. So here's Mike Harris, 6039. One of my long-term PCs was killed in action a few years back, and they've been played for years, and the player was distraught at the loss of this character. This is an OSR style game, but life is only significant when death is on the table, like you said. Okay. And this is the Dungeon Master. Bear Kid 1 was the Dungeon Master for this Pokemon game. I know because I've seen him in comments and other videos. Also, Bear Kid 1, I just want to say, folks, you have an option as a YouTube subscriber, as a YouTube person, whether you upload videos or you don't, to set your playlist, like your liked playlist. When you like videos, it automatically creates a playlist on your. When you have a YouTube account, when you subscribe to people on YouTube, you're like considered. It makes you like a YouTube content creator. And if you like videos, it makes a playlist for you. And if you subscribe to videos, if you don't make the selections on your YouTube account to make your subscriptions private, you're known as a public subscriber. Here, I'll show you. Bear Kid 1, to read the comment here, says, someone who writes stories when he can. I may joke about it with our mutual friend, but character death is never a happy thing for me. I often accept my own characters dying if it happens to me, but I will always have a hard time if it's a friend character that died. Even more so if I was the one who took it. Death isn't a joke, it's permanent. I can't take it back, and to think that someone that never wishes outright harm at the table. Scott, you're a dear friend to me. After the rekindling we've had of our friendship over the past few weeks, from here on out, and I'm not saying that I don't want you back at my table, I just want you to take the time you need to rejoin us. You're always welcome to a spot at my table, my friend. To Fjorn, he will be remembered. DME. Okay, now check this out. Okay. If you don't computer teacher by day, insanely goofy gamer by night, I play all the typical nerdy games. Links, okay, oh, he came back to go to his fan fiction. There you go, 13 subscribers. Here we go. So we see his playlist that he makes, but also if under certain things, if you select certain things, I don't know what to do. It happens when I do it on my phone. It automatically shows me on my phone who this guy subscribes to. And you don't necessarily want that. Necessarily. And you don't necessarily see like, what his favorites are, you know what I mean? But you don't necessarily want people to know like what your favorites are or whatever. So like always, it's just a lesson in like, like OPSEC, Like if you highlight somebody, like some people's like channels, like it'll show you like everything they subscribe to and stuff. You don't necessarily want that. Anyway, let me go back to the live chat. I thank the people for still sticking with me. There you go, Charles Williamson. Tim Frey, still fighting with ice. Check Chambers every day without my ex is like a lottery win, so I'm pretty much in heaven already. There you go. Okay. Tim Frey, funny. I like almost every video I watch on YouTube, but only Xanadu appears in my playlist. There you go. Okay. So, having done all of that, let me do this and say the following. When I was next looking at the first jump chain that we will be doing is the Pokemon Trainer Choose Your Own Adventure jump chain. As I've said, I'm going to be doing this jump chain as the first jump in my 30 jump chain. 30 to I can't even remember why I'm only doing 30. There had to be some sort of titular reason that I was doing that. I can't remember why, but we know that the first one is going to be the Pokemon Trainer Choose Your Own Adventure jump chain because that is traditional in the jump chain community as one's first jump chain. Though it doesn't have to be. Though it is said that you cannot do that jump if you don't do it as your first one. What will happen if you try to do that jump chain as like your fifth or sixth or God forbid your 55th jump in your chain? Oh Lord, oh no. Oh geez. Oh God. Oh no. Oh God. Oh no. Don't oh gee. Holy oh God. Right? Oh no. Something terrible. Sitcom only jump chain. Possible. So here we go. We know that I'm going to be trying to be as traditional as I can be, even though I'm going to have a tough time of it because I don't know much about Pokemon. I don't know much about Pokemon. We've been over this a million times. So I have looked at the initial Pokemon document. I looked at the initial Pokemon Trainer jump chain last night and I'd actually looked at this thing that was supposed to be this like chain jumper virtual it was supposed to be this like web app that was supposed to make multiple jumps easier to integrate because the problem with jump chains is you pick up all these perks, you pick up all these companions, you pick up all these items. How do you keep track of it all? A lot of people use spreadsheets like Excel spreadsheets. I'm like that shit, and I'm also not big on typing, so I'm figuring out that I'm probably going to just end up writing this stuff out freehand. Now, people go up to like there are people that have jump chains that go on for like 100, 300, 350 jumps. Ah, we might have trouble doing 30 jumps, but we're gonna do our best. Like I said, a lot of this is all narrative based. I'm going to be doing some incorporation of different dice mechanics, I think, because that's just how I get down. That's just how I do things. Let me do this. Here we go. Hold on. Da, 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 da. Where am I? Where am I? Here we go. Desktop. Here we go. Ah, okay. Okay. So I was working with ChatGPT and I came up with this. It helped me come up with some documents, including this Jumpchain dice use guide. This is, like I said, working with ChatGPT. There's no doubt in my mind that it pulled some of this from, pre-existing, forum entries and different Discord postings and musings by other people, along with other stuff. But this is I'm gonna be using this. It's a jump chain dice use guide, optional dice rules for gameplay and randomness. Jump chain is narrative by default, but dice can be used to add unpredictability, tension, and emergent story events. Below are optional rules for dice-based resolution in your chain challenge, and a lot of this stuff is going to be, known and will be familiar to people, in TTRPG community, especially the solo TTRPG community, where we often use these sort of dice stuff for, oracles and just, conflict resolution. And did you succeed or didn't you succeed? Folks, there's nothing new under the sun. People talk about all these different games and all these different, Shadow Dark and all these different things and the game bounce and all this crap. It's all been done. Roll under, roll over. Did you hit it? Did you not hit it? How many hit points? Da 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 da. Folks, the amount of crunch. You want individual hit points for spleens, lungs, and diaphragms? Go for it. I don't know. Challenge rolls, task resolution. Roll 1d20 plus perk modifiers. 10 equals easy, 15 moderate, 20 hard, 25 plus very hard. Failure, success affects narrative outcome. Duh. Random events, narrative surprises. Roll 1d6 periodically. 1, major complication. 2 to 3, minor issue. 4 to 6, smooth, normal. If you do solo RPGs, you've seen that sort of shit all the time. Combat resolution, optional. Roll D100 for attacks or powers. Success based on target defenses or fixed difficulty. Drawback activation rolls. Because remember, we talked about this, that the jump chains all have different drawbacks that you'll get, to make life more difficult. And then you'll get more character generation points based on taking various different drawbacks. There's usually a limit on how many drawbacks you can take. Roll 1d10 during narrative beats. 1 major effect, 2 to 3 minor effects, 4 to 10 no effects. So if you have a drawback that says you've got a paranoid fixation on Pokemon sphincters. You know what I mean? Then you encounter a Pokemon and it's waving its tail. Then you'd roll. What is the sphincter doing to you? You're really, activated, someone interested, compelled to examine, you know what I mean? I'm just, I wanted to see, look, it was in distress, you know what I mean? I swear, thought I lost my grandmother's pearl necklace. It was acting suspicious. I wanted to make sure that everyone was safe around here. It looked like it had an accent. Sure, whatever you say, Tom Waits. Jump entry, exit rolls. Roll 1d10 upon arrival departure. 1, standard, bad start. 2 to 3, unfavorable. 4 to 7, normal. 8 to 9, lucky. 10, amazing. Companion relationship rolls. You get the picture. Yeah, we see. That's when you fell for the roller of the dice. Ah! There you go. Awesome. There you go. That sort of bullshit. So we gamify it. So I'm not just out there being a douchebag, being like, I think this happened, and then I thought that happened. Close current tab. Anyway. Where was I? There you go. Oh, say hello to Akun Art Knight. Welcome to the live chat, Akun Arknight. Are you the Mary? Tim Frey, I jumped to the Mary Tyler Moore show where Mary, Rhoda, and Phyllis are all in the same scene. Rawr. There you go. Roll for initiative. Meanwhile, Noed Asner, Tim, roll a natural 20. You are the Ed Asner. Can I get a 227? Mary. Oh, where's Rakshamoose when you need him? Missing. Presume fabulous. Listen. I was doing some research in preparation of the Pokemon Jump. I swear to people, next time we are doing the actual jump. Christ is my witness. Interesting. You know what? Now I'm intrigued by the live chat. Hold on. Oh, there you go. No, I wish. Plenty of people missing. Anyway, I was doing some research in preparation of the Pokemon Jumpchain. Okay, let me go for a minute to the good old fashioned Schmickopedia. Okay, Arthur, are you planning to do this Jumpchain thing solo or with someone else? Solo to begin with, culminating in a one-on-one encounter with the one and only J. Scott Garrity if he chooses to accept the challenge. Arthur, welcome to the live chat. Welcome to the live chat. As we go on this Jumpchain adventure, I will be accepting input from the live chat community as to where to go next. And I will be accepting input from the community as to help with doing the Jumpchain, the Pokemon Jumpchain, because I do not know much about Pokemon. But let me explain this. Let me go to the Pokemon article and go through some things that were noteworthy and interesting to me. Stuff I did not know. Some of this stuff will hit bells of remembrance for those who are longtime subscribers and longtime viewers of my channel, both here and my previous incarnations on YouTube. For those who are new, this may seem like the ramblings of a madman, because they are. I had gained some infamy for being interested in nostalgia loops. The belief that our culture is basically an Ouroboros recycling itself on most prominently 20, 25, and 30-year loops. And that especially because this process has been going on so long, with media being not disappearing or going anywhere, that at this point in time, we're just basically in this forever period of time where time is basically stopped. Where there used to be a 60s, followed a 50s, followed by a 60s, followed by a 70s and 80s and a 90s, where we could see periods of time that could be identifiable. That especially starting in the 90s, which was just basically a regurgitation of the 70s, and the 2000s, which were just basically a regurgitation of the 80s, that now we've reached the point where it's just everything's been recycled so much, we're just in this forever melange of all different eras existing at once. But speaking about this nostalgia loop and this very powerful 30-year nostalgia loop, I noted that next year will be the 30-year nostalgia loop of Pokemon, which was first introduced on the 27th of February, 1996. So whether I'm picking up on it because it's just a moment of random synchronicity, or whether you believe, as some believe, that there are no coincidences and this is happening because it was meant to happen, we are going through this Pokemon and this jump chain experience approximately 29 years, 30 years, approximately 30 years post the introduction of Pokemon. But wait, there's more. According to Wikipedia, by 2002, this original Pokemania had ended. 2002 was an interesting year to me because I'm very attached to the number 22. In 2016, there was a reintroduction of the Pokemon craze with the introduction of Pokemon Go. You will notice that 2016 is 20 years, the 20-year nostalgia loop from 1996, the first introduction of Pokemon. Again, this 20-year nostalgia loop. Origins was created by Satoshi Tajiri, who was born on the 28th of August, 1965. I was born on the 22nd of August, 1975. So this individual is exactly 10 years and approximately 10 years and 1 week older than me. And if you're thinking that I'm thinking that there's it's meaning, so it all means, it's just I note coincidences, I see coincidences, I know coincidences, and I talk about coincidences. That's it. Moving through the article, I also saw. I won't get too into the weeds. We talk about this, the interconnections. There we go. And that was it. 1996, 1998, rise in Japan, release of Red and Green. There you go. And that was it. That's just all I really wanted to show, was just that thing that I noticed. Those little coincidences. Pokemon Go frenzy was quite wild, man. People legit killed their family due to that game. And do you know who was crazy about Pokemon Go? J. Scott Garrity. And as I talk about these coincidences, we are at the 1 hour, 33 minute, and 44 second mark with exactly 11 viewers. One viewer on Twitch, 10 viewers on YouTube. Just saying. We also say hello to ZXPA. ZXPA says, what does the death of Super Phanpy refer to? Well, it was a play on the famous Death of Superman comic trope. And it also specifically is a reference to we started off talking about this series of me talking about jump chains is dovetailing off a series of me talking about a specific individual on YouTube that might be referred to by some as a lol cow by the name of J. Scott Garraby, who killed his Phanpy player character by the name of Fjorn in a D&D 5e Pokemon game by insisting that they engage in a lethal gym battle, believing that the 5e death save rules would protect them and basically say they wouldn't die. He was warned not to do this, and he did it anyway, causing the Phanpy to die. So I'm using that as a narrative excuse to go on a 30 jump chain journey to see him and confront him outside of the infinite staircase finally in the you got to know that there's lore here. And Charles Williamson says, sounds like some woman's moss soaker in the caveman days. Are you okay? Watch yourself, Charles Williamson. Charles, you're one of those guys where I don't know it's because whether or not because you're using text or, sometimes, it can appear a little bit wavy. And I don't know. So here's the deal. We're an hour and 36. So I'll tell you this. Looking at the Pokemon trainer jump chain, I can tell you the following things. Last night, I tried to begin to. Yeah. It's the death of Superman. I mean, it was a famous comic book from back in the day. It's lost its luster. Yeah. It's lost its luster because since then, Superman wasn't dead. You might remember it because it had several key reference points. Number one, the comic book cover was quite famous because it had Batman holding Superman, a la there's that famous statue of Mary holding Jesus. I think it's called La Pieta, where she's all like, and she's holding the body of Jesus. So it's like that, like Batman is holding Superman's dead body, and he's all like, he's walking and he's holding Superman's dead body. And there was a famous reference to it in Tim Frey, Charles and Tim. Do I have to separate you two? There was a reference to it in The Simpsons where they're going through Bart and Milhouse are going through the comics and they pick up a copy of Beetle Bailey and they pick it up and it's the death of Sad Sack, where you see I forget what the captain's name is. He's holding Sad Sack from Beetle Bailey, and Bart goes to Milhouse and goes, I hope it's not another one of those fake outs. Because shortly after the death of Superman comic, what was supposed to be the death of Superman, guess what? They didn't actually kill Superman, right? He came back. Go figure. Go figure the dramatic death of Superman comic didn't turn out to be the final time that we would see Superman. right? Genocide spoilers. Well, considering that the Death of Superman comic, I think, came out in hold on. Now I got to look at, geez. Gee, Benjamin, why do your streams always end up being 5 hours long? I don't know, Genocide. Why? Well, now we got to look up the Death of Superman. Got to look up the Death of Superman. Want to look up the Death of Superman. There we go. The Death of Superman. Now, meanwhile, folks, FYI, in case you're curious, I guarantee you there's a Death of Superman Jumpchain. How much you want to bet? That's not the original cover. 1993. The Death of Superman is a crossover story event mostly featured in DC Comics Superman-related publications. Fair use, fair use, fair use. I'm quoting from Wikipedia here. The crossover, which originated from editor Mike Carlin, and writers Jan Jurgens. You got Dan Jurgens lotion all over you. Roger Stern, Louise Simonson, there's a joke there, Jerry Ordway, and Carl Kessel, that crowd, began in December 1992 and lasted until October 1993. Talk about nostalgia loops. It was published in Superman Action Comics, The Adventures of Superman, Superman the Man of Steel, Justice League America, and Green Lantern. Jesus Christ. Since its initial publication, The Death of Superman has been reprinted in various formats and editions. No way. Yada, yada. Oh my God. The Death of Superman is divided into 3 story arcs: Doomsday, Funeral for a Friend, and Reign of the Superman. The first arc chronicles Superman's fight with the monster Doomsday and concludes with his death. The second depicts Superman's fellow superheroes and the rest of the DC universe mourning his death, ending with his adopted father, Jonathan Kent, having a heart attack. The third sees the emergence of 4 Superman imposters before the original is resurrected. A number of characters in The Death of Superman, such as Doomsday, Superboy, the Cyborg Superman, Steel, and the Eradicator, would recur in later DC publications. When news broke that DC planned to kill Superman, a beloved cultural icon, The Death of Superman received unprecedented coverage from the mainstream media. Superman number 75, which features Superman's death, sold over 6 million copies and became the top-selling comic book of 1992. Retrospective reviewers are divided on the story, with some finding it ambitious and influential, while others dismissed it as a publicity stunt. The story has been adapted to various forms of media, including 2 novelizations in 1993, a beat-em-up video game, The Death and Return of Superman, in 1994, a loose animated film adaptation, Superman Doomsday, was released in 2007, nostalgia loop. A second animated adaptation was released as a 2-part film, The Death of Superman and Reign of Superman, in 2018, 2019, respectively. There you go. Development. I want to see I want to see the famous cover. And then remember, there was that song by there's that band from Canada, the Crash Test Dummies. They had a song about it where all the superheroes came and said goodbye to Super. Remember, there was a song about it. They don't have the cover, man. No, come on, dude. Well, this is some high quality shit. This is some high quality YouTube over here, right? Come on, where's that freaking cover, dude? Saturday Night Live parody The Death of Superman in a sketch in the 7th episode of the 18th season. Oh, here we go. Black Lightning, portrayed by Sinbad, tries to enter, but no one knows him, even though he claims to have taught Superman how to fly. I remember that one. Come on. Legacy and Comics. There you go. come on. Where's that? I just need the friggin' cover, dude. Why I'm over here in Wikipedia when I should be just looking at images, you motherfucker. And if I don't find it, I'll be like, what am I misremembering it? It's not that one. I remember it so clearly. Why am I not finding it? It's gotta be this one. Is it this one? Holy crap. Am I just fantasizing this cover? It looks like it's that one, but I remember being Batman for some reason. Holy crap. Was it Lois Lane? I guess it was Lois Lane. Hold on. Ugh. I'm not watching a video. Forget you, dude. My apologies. Again. I know this is compelling. I know this is absolutely compelling. Can I just see the image? Oh, God damn it. This is the greatest use of my time and your time ever. I think we can all agree. Thank you. My God. Oh, no. Just, fuck you. Anyway, it is so anticlimactic. This is going to be so anticlimactic. So anticlimactic, I know. So absolutely, totally, unbelievably anticlimactic. Death in the. I'm thinking of the wrong thing, aren't I? Death in the Family. Batman holds a dead Robin. Is that what I'm thinking of? Is that what I'm thinking of? Hold on. Did I just get Mandela effect? You're absolutely 110% right. Oh my fucking God. I I totally put these things together in my fucking head. Because no, hold on. Wait till you see it though. Hold on. No, it's that one. Look. It's this. Watch. It's this, right? Check this out. It's this plus. So it is this, but there's a reason. Now check this out. I'm going to tell you how it happened. Remember I told you that story about the Simpsons with the death of Sad Sack? Watch that. So keep this image in your mind. Okay? Keep that image in your mind. This will totally work. Because it's not like people come in and out, and it's not like people are tuning in and out. Death of Sad Sack. Oh my God. Look. Oh God, this is not. No, you can't slow me down, bitches. You can't slow me down, bitches. Please. You can't slow me down right now. I need this. Holy shit. I need the huge image. I need the biggest image you got. No, come on. You fuckers. Oh shit. What the fuck? God damn it. Where is it? Why'd you bring me here? Why'd you bring me here? Oh my God. Look. There you go. The death of Sad Sack. Oh my God. So it's the death of the family with it's the death of Superman plus a death of the family plus a death of Sad Sack creates the image in my mind of Batman holding Superman with the death of Superman. And I've been telling that story for and we spent how long did we spend? Why do my videos go on so long? And I'm sure that people in the Jumpchain community will flock to my channel and know that it's completely not a waste of their time to listen to me not talk about jump chains, even though the video says the video is about jump chains and it's 2 hours long. Are you not entertained? No, you're not entertained. But I swear to God, the next video, we're at 2 hours long, so we're not going to do it today. But the next video, I swear, will not just mention jump chains all over the place, but will actually have jump chain content. I swear. I promise. I do. It's not a fake out. Can you imagine what kind of bizarre anti-road to no success would that be? There's a small community on the internet dedicated to a niche fan fiction called Jumpchain. What I'm going to do is I'm going to target them for long distance trolling. The setup is going to be this. I'm going to say that the videos are about jump chains. And I'm going to say a fair amount about jump chains. But then it's going to be kind of like not that productive and it won't really get there. Huh? And I'll invest like 2 hours a night for like a couple of nights. And then, but like 2 or 3 of them will get over here. The Garrity jump chain thing is so meta. It's like watching a David Lynch movie. Even the dark car Garrity monologue looked like a shot from a Lynch film. This guy gets it. See? The Cthulhu gets it. Or is the Lodger, the Cthulhu, in on it? Four of coins. Don't worry. about the time and money invested. Don't worry about it being time and money misspent. Don't get locked in and obsessed about the value, the losses gained, the losses to be won. Let it flow. The order is perfect as long as the perfect order doesn't obsess. Let the coins hang free like a wind chime. Let there be windows on the walls. Let there be cracks in the corners where the sunlight can get through. Those drafts may mean that there is extra pence, pounds, and dollars spent on the heating bill, but it also means that there's less possibility of dying from radon accumulation inside. Be free. Don't be boxed in. So saith me this day. So readeth I this day. But like any card, like any symbol, like any sign, like any words, this day they may read and resonate and mean this thing. The next day they may read and resonate to you or to me some other way. Tune in again, and we will jump and fly away. Tips, advice, recommendations for builds. If you're experienced and know about the Perkman Trainer CYOA Jumpchain document, leave them in the description box below. Advice, questions, concerns about anything we've talked about so far, leave them in the description box below. Don't be scared to leave a thumbs up. Don't be scared to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Don't be scared to look in that description box below for other ways to support me and this channel. I love you. I love you. I love you. If nobody told you they loved you today, somebody just did. That somebody is me. Make of that what you will. Because you will. Where there's a will, there's a way. Hey, hey. God bless the sinners. God bless the saints. God bless everyone who likes to use finger paints. Till next time. Share it on social media. Like and subscribe. Clip it up. Share it with your friends. Post it up. Peace.